Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's RFP information session. That's the request for proposals for the 2023 Medium Festival of Photography. Liliana Hueso and I are happy to have you here with us for the information session today. And special thanks to everybody who's joining us live, and welcome to those who are joining the recorded session. We are excited to roll out a new format for the 11th Annual Medium Festival of Photography, including the open call for festival events across San Diego and Tijuana. Keeping with the 10-year history of the Medium Festival, our goal is to highlight ways that people use photography today. We're also working to provide information and access to a wide range of creative practices within the medium itself, and that is where the RFP comes in. I'd like to begin by reviewing a couple of the event dates and to clarify that the 2023 Medium Review is taking place virtually. So that will happen on March 30th and 31st of 2023, with registration opening for Medium Photo members on November 15th, followed by portfolio review registration for the general public on November 17th. The festival itself runs from April 1st to the 16th, and it will include both in-person and virtual events across the San Diego and Tijuana region. So I'm going to start a quick screen share of the RFP page that's on our website. And to go over that real quickly with you. So the whole process for the RFP is outlined on this page, and there's a couple different elements here that are important to pay attention to. One is the submission guidelines down below. That's a button that opens a PDF, which you can also download, of course, and it includes FAQs for the RFP process as well. There is no cost to submit an event proposal. And the RFP process itself is open through December 1st of this year, 2022. There are also specifically two RFPs linked on this page, which I'm going to review as part of today's session. Those are here, the submit a proposal, and then the second is to reserve a table for the pop-up event. I want to talk a little bit about the submission guidelines and to look at that PDF with you. So let's see that one here. So the key points that are covered in the submission guidelines include two different sample lists of in-person and virtual events. These are by no means a limitation. They're really just a list of ideas of the kinds of events that we're anticipating the public may make proposals for events for. This, if I wasn't clear, this is the submission guidelines that you'll download and or open on through the website. Oops, sorry, scrolled through that a little too fast. So we have suggestions of different types of events, both virtual and in person, and some important dates there. We also give an overview of the host responsibilities for anybody who is participating in the festival. There's also a calendar of key dates here listed, as well as a list of what events hosts receive as part of participation. I think I may have missed a page. Let me go back. Sorry, it's a little slippery. I didn't miss a page, but I missed a portion of this, which is event registration fees. So if you propose an event and it is accepted, there's a fee for participation. You can see that's listed here for individual artists, for medium members, for businesses who have less than 5 employees, and businesses who have more than 5 employees. The businesses for less than 5 employees also includes nonprofit organizations. So let me scroll to the next page. Again, the overview of what participating event hosts in the festival will receive. An overview of the selection criteria that we use in the process to approve individual events, and the FAQs as well. So let's see. In addition, I'm going to go and stop sharing that. In addition to the festival events that are accepted through the RFP process, the 2023 Medium Festival will also include the same type of programs we've produced over the last 10 years. So these include our keynote lecture, our Second Sight Award lecture, the Size Matters exhibition, etc. I did mention that we have 2 different RFPs, which I'm going to go into detail about. One is for general proposals for festival events, and then the other is specifically for a photography pop-up that we are hosting at Bread and Salt on April 1st of 2023. Anyone who's planning to submit a proposal should fully review the submission guidelines PDF that I just shared quickly with you. It's only 7 pages, so that you fully understand everything that's outlined. The RFPs themselves are pretty straightforward Google forms that have requests for various amounts of information that I, again, will go over in just a minute. It's important to keep in mind that the information that you provide to us on this form is what Medium will use to build the web pages that we create for each of the festival events that are selected through the RFP process. So the first, well, let me just ask right now if there's any questions that anybody has. You can either unmic or you can drop it in the chat. Take that as a no, that's okay. Pretty basic.
Sorry, real quick, I assume you'll get into this in more detail later, but the photo pop-up at Bread and Salt is,
yeah.
Will you talk about that more in depth later?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So the Bread and Salt event, as I mentioned, happens on April 1st, 2023. At this location, we are going to be utilizing the Brick Room space, which is the space that they hold all of their rental events in. This is going to go from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on that Saturday, and we will have a series of tables for photographers and or businesses to utilize. This will be similar to our pop-up shop at the Lafayette Hotel that we've had for each of the 10 festival years, only it'll be larger in scale. So I'll show you just a couple pictures to give a little bit of a visual sense of that. This is from our open portfolio walk. It's sort of a similar idea to it. And then the other was from a previous iteration of Medium, where we had this gentleman, Chris Lottie, who runs East County Print Shop, who was doing screen printing demos. So the same kind of spirit is really going to guide the events that happen at Bread and Salt. So participants at the photography pop-up on April 1st will receive a standard 6-foot table and be part of an event that's free and open to the public. In this location, on this same day, we're also going to be hosting the 2022 Aperture Periphoto Photo Book Awards exhibition, which highlights 50 books that were part of this highly competitive exhibition that they're actually currently putting together right now as we speak in October of 2022. We anticipate having DJs, coffee service, and a wide range of photography that can include items for purchase. So if you have anything, whether it's gift cards, your own artwork, strictly speaking, prints or what have you, you are free to sell that in the space, and those sales would be managed through you directly through your own point of sale service. The photography pop-up happens one day only. And it will also, the same location at Bread and Salt will serve for a Sunday event separate from the pop-up shop. That's a book publishing panel immediately following and in conjunction with the Aperture Periphoto Photo Book Awards exhibition. So the RFP, when you click on that on the website, and let me pull that up just to provide a visual. Let's see. I'm talking about this particular portion, reserve a table for the pop-up event. That RFP is broken down into 4 categories or sections. And these are really basic, straightforward information. It's a Google form, so it's pretty simple to fill out. The first category is just general contact info, name, address, phone number, or email address kind of thing. The second category is information that you will provide about your proposed table and any specific needs that you have. So this could mean, if you need electricity or, accessibility issues, maybe a little side table or something else. That's where we're asking for any information that you anticipate. And that's just to help us better prepare as we organize all of the different moving parts. The third section of the RFP is asking for photos. That's going to be photos of your artwork or whatever you're planning to display, as well as photos that we can use for social media. I believe one of those includes a portrait of you as a person. And then the final category of the RFP is what we call the agreements and understandings. And that's basically confirmation that you've read and understand the scope of participation, the terms of cancellation, et cetera. It's all pretty straightforward. So what questions can I answer about the photography pop-up? Anything that wasn't covered?
Sorry, it takes me a while to find the unmute button.
That's okay.
So do you anticipate the photography pop-up to be like quite competitive of a selection process?
I don't anticipate that it will. Really what we're looking for is various uses of fine art photography. And, that could be anything from an artist, an individual artist, to a bookstore that says, well, we want to take all our photo books down there and show, the photo books that we sell. In my mind, if a record store says, hey, we want to bring down, a bunch of vinyl records that have to do with music surrounding photography, around the idea of photography, that would be great too. So being the first year, it's hard for us to even know, what the input will be like as far as what we receive for the RFPs. But really, it's an opportunity, to make sure we know who's signing up for this. It's probably safe to say it's going to be a lot more inclusive than exclusive.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. And any other questions that I might be able to answer? If there's not, we can always circle back to this as well, or you can drop a question in the chat, or you can email Liliana or myself. The second RFP that's on the webpage is for businesses and individuals who are going to propose events happening broadly between April 1st and 16th. So this RFP is designed for a wider range of festival events that might include, these were outlined on the submission guidelines, and those on that very first page in those 2 blocks. But for example, this might include a studio tour. Maybe you want to host an open studio of your own space. Perhaps you want to host a workshop, an actual skills workshop based on something related to photography, whether that's a walkabout of shooting, whether it's, editing on your iPhone, whether it's, a non-silver process workshop. There's really kind of a wide open field there. It might also include exhibitions. If you have an exhibition in town and you want to promote that or have that be part of the festival, or you have a book, you want to do a book signing, or perhaps you want to give a lecture about your own work. So Events that are submitted through this particular RFP can really take place at any location across our region. And that really includes, by our region, we're basically defining Kumeyaay territory, right? The county of San Diego and the general city of Tijuana. So an event can take place at a local business. It could take place at a nonprofit organization. It could take place at your own studio. One of the other parts that's special about this portion of the RFP is that we're partnering with San Diego City College downtown as a host space for events that, or for individuals who might want to propose an event that they actually need facilities. So if you want to give an artist talk and you don't want to do it in your backyard or on the street, the space at City College, has a lecture hall with seating and full audio visual capacity. So this partnership that we've developed with them really opens a range of options for participants to produce a program that might utilize darkroom space. It might utilize the lecture hall, as I mentioned. They have a print finishing studio, they have a digital studio, they also have lighting studios. So it is important to point out that events that are proposed to be hosted at City College have to be accessible to their registered students, and they can't have a registration fee associated with them. And I will touch base about registration fees for the public in just a minute. But going over the RFP for the general festival events, so that might include, the studio tour at your home, an exhibition at a local nonprofit, or exhibition space, etc. That RFP is also broken down into 4 sections. And so again, these 4 sections are pretty similar. They include, the first section is general contact info, email address, phone number, etc. about you. And then the second section is information about your proposed event. So that includes location information. If you are planning to host an open studio, we need to know the location of the studio. Maximum number of attendees. Again, I'll use the open studio as a possibility. If you only want to have 10 people, that's something that we need to know and to build in. And then finally, if the event is ticketed, what the cost of that event will be. The third section is photos for our webpage and social media, again. And then the fourth section, which is the same on both RFPs, is the agreements and understandings. So that's just the confirmation that you've read about, terms of cancellation, etc. So any questions before I go into the final portion that I can answer about the general request for proposals?
Scott, this is Marshall Wood. How does it work in terms of timing? Do you assign a day, or if we were to say there's an event happening, would this coincide with the festival?
Right, that's a great question. You can basically, we are looking to fill events between the 1st and 16th. There's a couple dates that we are not going to really push unless somebody pushes for that date. That would be, for example, April 7th, which is our planned keynote lecture. On the RFP, there's specifically a section that says if there's any dates that you can't host your event, to please list those. So again, if you're talking about an open studio and you can't do it on Thursdays, or you don't want to do it on Mondays to Thursdays, let's say that you're really targeting this for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then let us know about that. So basically what will happen is when we compile all of the event submissions, we will calendar these out both geographically and through time to try and minimize or avoid overlaps of different events that are happening. In the end, overlaps are probably going to be inevitable, but this is the first time that we're doing the festival in this way. So it's a little hard for us to know exactly what that will shape up like.
Got it, thanks.
Yeah. I did mention event costs, meaning if you want to host an event that is ticketed. In case I didn't say it at the beginning of this session, the majority of festival events for the 2023 Medium Festival will be free to the public. That includes the keynote lecture, it includes the majority of our lectures, etc. If for any reason you choose to have your event ticketed, maybe you're gonna, I don't know, give away a print for every attendee or something, and it just flat out costs you money to produce this event. Or maybe you're gonna rent a physical space, to host an event in. In that case, it would be, you would let us know what that ticket cost is, whether it's $10 a head, $350 a head, whatever. And Medium will then handle all of the ticketing for that. And we will pay out, to each individual participant at the conclusion of the festival. We'll pay out whatever proceeds were. So if you're doing a Platinum Palladium workshop and it costs, $500 for people to attend, and you get 5 employees, Medium is going to handle all that ticketing and then, pay out the host at the end. We are encouraging that most events be free, but it's by no means a consideration in the RFP process, and it's by no means going to exclude anybody if they need to, have a ticket cost for that. Let's see. Any questions so far? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, I know I will be having well, it's going to be installed in the next couple of weeks, but I'll have a show of photographs at the Cabrillo Marine Science Center, which is just outside San Diego County.
Okay.
It's in LA. Is something like that? The aquarium is free to the public. Is that something that could be potentially listed in association with the festival, or
yes,
how would something like that work?
Absolutely, we could do that. Our focus is on San Diego County just to draw geographic boundaries, right, on things and to try and simplify those communications for the public. If there are events, if somebody in El Centro wants to host an event, we're not going to exclude them by any means, as long as the event fits within the framework and the intention of the festival as a whole.
Okay. And let's say I wanted to submit this event in LA, and then also another idea I had for a workshop, for example. I should complete the RFP twice.
Yeah, if they're truly separate events, then please do submit 2 different RFPs for that. It's going to help us, on the back the organization, as you can imagine.
Okay, cool.
Something else that I haven't mentioned are virtual events. And this is an important component of it as well. We've already received RFPs for virtual events. And this is, something that we want to make sure that people who can't attend an event in person, have access to the, creative capacity and field of photography. And so the virtual events that are ultimately approved for the festival will be hosted through Medium's Zoom account. They will be recorded for future playback. And we will set forth a series of guidelines, just general style guidelines, to help maintain a consistent professional presentation for all of the programs that are contained in the 23 festival. Virtual events shouldn't be longer than 45 minutes unless there's a good reason that it needs to be. We can certainly extend that, but people's attention span in the virtual sphere, rarely exceeds 3 hours. So we want to try and, keep that in check. And I imagine that's probably going to be understood for most people submitting events. So with that, that is pretty much the broad overview. If there aren't any other questions, I will go ahead and wrap it up. But if there are questions,
I had a question, Scott, Marshall. And I think one of the components is a video that we need to submit.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Can you explain just a little bit more what that should?
Yeah,
content
yeah,
should-
I'm sorry, yeah, thank you for asking about that. If you're gonna host an in-person event that it's a book signing, let's say, what we're asking is to create just a very short, it can be very basic promotional video that says, hi, I'm Scott Davis. I'm proud to be signing copies of my book as part of the 2023 Medium Festival. Maybe you hold up a copy of the book. You maybe do, a camera pointed down and you do a leafing through of the book. Something that we can basically allow people who can't be physically present, whether it's through personal limitations or they're in Nashville and they really want to see your event, something that will give them a little bit of a teaser, to understand what that in-person event looks like.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And if we don't have any other questions, I will go ahead and wrap it up. Want to thank everybody who was able to attend live and in person, and encourage you to help spread the word. We're really excited about the changed format of the festival in the new year. It's an expansion. It's been made possible through grant funding. There's a lot of exciting changes, and having free events and really including and encouraging public participation is one of the very exciting changes for us, as are the free events. So really looking forward to it, and really grateful to everybody for their time and their participation at this stage of the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you all, and have a great day.